Namaste. Welcome to yoga. Remember to listen to your body, grabbing water whenever you need, rest as needed, but also not being afraid to challenge yourself. But protect a shoulder or a back and modify as needed. We're going to start in tabletop. So tabletop, we're going to be hands and knees, hands shoulder width apart, separating your hands, coming to rest on your knees and the top of your feet where your shoelaces would be. We're going to tuck your elbows in, pull your abs in and pull your chin away from your chest to give that neck some length here. Soften your elbows. We tend to load those joints. So let the muscles that support those joints do the work. From tabletop, we're going to pull the belly button in. We're going to round and flex your spine and make your way into cat. Just opening up those stiff spaces and then letting your belly go. We're going to roll your shoulders back. Take a look forward and lifting your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Now here, we're going to just roll your shoulders back a bit. A chance to just stretch that chest. From cow, we're going to come back into cat. So your breath up, we're going to come back into cat pose. And then back into cow. Once more through. Breath out or exhale into cat. And inhale into cow. And then from cow, we're going to come back to tabletop. So neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Soften those elbows. We're going to draw your belly button in, keep your core engaged, and come to tuck your toes in. So really on the back of your toes. Holding here for a moment, start to press your feet back, an opportunity to stretch that fascia. Then from here, we're going to bring your knees off the mat. So you're just hovering, so you're nice and low. You're not too high. Really engaging your core, remembering to breathe, pulling your shoulders back, and relaxing your face. We're going to hold just for 5. And then we're going to slowly lift your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Shift your weight back more in the balls of your feet, a chance to stretch your fascia. Challenging it, yes, but not forcing it just yet. And come back to hovering tabletop. So bring your shoulders over your wrists, knees right over the mat. Looking forward, soften those elbows. Coming back to downward facing dog. Ease into that stretch, lifting your sit bones up towards the ceiling. We're going to pull your shoulder blades down your spine, just giving some space or distance between your ears and your shoulders. Coming back to hovering tabletop, so knees right over the mat. Looking forward once again, soften your elbows. And pressing back to our final downward facing dog in a sequence. Shifting your weight back, pulling your knees back, just ease into it. From here, we're going to walk your hands back to join your feet. So as many hand steps as you need, traveling towards the back of your mat. We're going to let your head hang, so take a look between your legs. So there's a space. Your feet should be out shoulder width apart, with your toes pointed forward and your heels directly behind. Now here, we're going to shake your head yes and no, letting go of any tension in your neck and shoulders. We're going to shift your weight back slightly more in the balls of your feet, so let your toes wiggle in sitting back in a chair. So draw your arms up, whether you're reaching to the ceiling or towards the front of the room and sinking through your hips. So knees and hips are bent. Pull your belly button in. Eyes are open and you're going to look towards your fingertips, whether you're reaching to the ceiling or to the front of the room. Then from here, we're going to shift forward slightly. So you're going to root all 4 corners of your feet and press up to tall mountain. Tuck your tailbone under, with or without a back bend, sitting back in a chair. So draw the weight more in the balls of your feet. Shoulder blades pulled back, sinking through your knees and your hips. And then just turn your knees so they're more tracking towards your second and third toe. They tend to want to track inward. Just really sinking down through your hips. We're going to hold this chair for 5. And then we're going to press up to tall mountain. Tuck your tailbone under, with or without a back bend. Once more, sit back in a chair. So ease into that chair, but take the weight more in the balls of your feet, wiggling your toes. Eyes are open, take a look forward. And then we're going to press up to tall mountain, with or without a back bend, but rooting the 4 corners of both feet and coming rest to the mountain. So hands at your sides, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and rooting equally through your right foot and left foot. Now engage your core. From here, we're going to walk those hands down for forward fold. So easy, hands resting on the mat, hands on your elbows or hands on your shins. We're going to let your head hang. So shaking your head yes and no, rooting your toes and heels and lifting your sit bones up slightly. Then we're going to take a gaze towards the top of your mat. So look forward. We're going to walk those hands forward and make our way to our first plank. So hands are shoulder width apart, elbows are tucked under, and if you need to, walk your feet back. So here, you want some nice length from your shoulder out to your heels. Try not to sink through your hips, nor lifting your hips up too high. Now this is a level 2 plank. Level 1 is to come down to your knee, your thigh, but looking forward, pulling your shoulder blades back. If you are off your knees in level 2 position, we're gonna press your feet back. Really engaging those quads. We're gonna hold here for 5, remembering to breathe. And then we're gonna slowly lower yourself straight in 4-point staff. So elbows are in. You're gonna slowly come down to the mat, pausing for a moment, pull your belly button in, bring your big toes together, and coming back into child's pose. So drop those sit bones back. We're gonna tuck your toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. This downward facing dog, there's a bit more space between your hands and your feet. So not worrying about how much of your foot is touching the mat, just feeling the reach, the length. Then we're gonna come forward to plank. Shoulders over your wrists, looking forward, charge your legs back. Engaging your quads as you do that. Abs holding, we're gonna slowly lower yourself. So use your arm to resist you down. Flat to the mat, big toes together, and back into child's pose. Twice more, we're gonna tuck your toes under. Coming back to downward facing dog. So pausing for a moment, rolling your shoulders back, forward to plank. Elbows are tucked under, 4-point staff, straight down the mat. Squeeze your elbows in, pull your belly button in, big toes together, and back into child's. Once more, we're gonna tuck your toes under, coming back to downward facing dog. Pull your knees back, feeling the stretch. Forward to plank, looking forward, and lowering yourself straight down. So squeeze your elbows. Know that you'll find the mat, abs in, and pressing back into final child's of the sequence. So yes, it's a resting pose. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. We're using this as a transitional pose. So we're gonna tuck the toes under, back to downward facing dog. We're gonna take your right hand and we're gonna reach towards your left little toe. Whether you physically touch or not important, but just go for the reach. Bring your hands back and take your left hand and reach towards your right little toe. Touching is not essential. And back into plank. We're gonna come forward into plank. Press your feet back. Abs pull in, we'll lower straight down 4-point staff. Big toes together, back into child's pose. Tuck your toes under, back into downward facing dog. Taking your right hand and reach towards your left little toe. Back to downward facing dog. Left hand's gonna reach for your right little toe. Back to downward facing dog. Forward to plank. Lower straight down 4-point staff. Squeeze those elbows and use your arms. Back into child's pose. Again, child's is more of a transition. If you need to stay here longer, we're gonna tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. Then we're gonna step the left foot back. So really trying to root your right heel, pull your right knee back and step your left foot back towards the back wall, towards the ceiling. But try not to shift forward. So really feeling that downward facing dog position, which is lifting one leg off the mat. Then we're gonna bring our left foot to join your right, downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot back. Again, really having your left heel pulled back. Left heel is rooting, reaching towards the mat. Bring your right foot to join your left. Coming forward into plank. Then 4-point staff straight down the mat. Big toes together, back into child's pose. And then back to downward facing dog. So just getting movement through that body. We're gonna take your right hand and reach towards your left little toe. Back to downward facing dog. Left hand towards your right little toe. Back to downward facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back for 3-legged dog. Pulling your right knee back. Reaching your left toes. Coming back to downward facing dog. Right foot back. Pull your left heel back. Really feeling the stretch along your left leg. Back to downward facing dog. Forward to plank. Pausing for a moment. Here's 4-point staff straight down the mat. Pause. And back into child's pose. Then we're gonna tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. We're gonna walk your hands back to join your feet. So traveling towards the back of your mat. Forward fold for a moment. We're gonna shake your head yes or no. And then shift the weight back in the balls of your feet, sitting back in a chair. So hinging through your knees and your hips. Take a look towards your fingertips. Roll your shoulders back. A few bounces, so just sink through those knees, through those hips. Then we're gonna press up to tall mountains, so root your feet. Pressing up with or without a back bend, remembering to breathe. Sitting back down into chair. Then from chair, we're gonna bring your fingertips down towards the mat, here's forward fold. Pausing for a moment. Then take your gaze and look towards the top of your mat. Walk your hands forward into plank. So find that plank. Charge your legs, we're gonna hold here for 5. So bend your elbows slightly so those muscles that support those joints are engaged. Press your feet back, so using your quads. Scoop those abs in. Looking forward. You know that your hands are there, so we don't need to look at them. Then from plank, we're gonna slowly lower straight down. 4-point staff, straight down the mat. And then we're gonna press back to plank. So you can use your knees or pull your belly button in, bring your knees off the mat, and press back to plank. So we're gonna find ourselves in the same pose. Then we're gonna come back to down facing dog. Take your right hand and reach towards your left little toe. Back to down facing dog. Left hand is gonna reach across and touch your right little toe. Back to down facing dog. We're gonna step your left foot back for three-legged dog. Now pulling your right heel back, really feeling the stretch, the reach. Now take your left knee and bring it in towards your forehead. So we're gonna pull the belly in, tuck your hips and your shoulders, make your spine like a cat. Step back to three-legged dog, and then bring your left foot to join your right. We're gonna step the right foot back for three-legged dog, so try not to shift forward. So having your left heel being rooted, pull your left knee back. Then we're gonna take your right knee in towards your forehead, pausing for a moment, that rounding of the spine, taking back to three-legged dog, and then bring the right foot back. We're gonna come forward to plank. Charge your legs. We're gonna lower yourself straight on 4-point staff, and then we're gonna reverse it. So use your knees or not, elbows are tucked under. Separate your hands, pull the belly button in, use your arms, use your strength, and press you back up into plank, and then back to down facing dog. We're gonna walk those hands back to join your feet. So as many hand steps as you need. You're just moving the body. Here's forward fold. Shifting the weight into the balls of your feet, sinking down a chair. So roll your shoulders back, sinking through your knees and your hips. So find that chair. Then we're gonna shift forward and press up to tall mountain. Neutral or press your palms forward and come into a back bend. So listen to your body. If this is uncomfortable, option to take your hands either side of your low back to support your back. Roll your shoulders back. So we want to feel the opening of your chest, even if you're in a neutral position. Then we're gonna sit back in a chair. So just shift the weight back and more the balls of your feet, hinging through your knees and your hips, but try to keep the spine long. Here we tend to kind of start to round forward. So I want you to roll your shoulders back, reaching your fingertips wherever's comfortable for you, even an option to bring your hands to prayer. Press your palms together, hands on heart center. Now we're gonna shift forward, regardless of where you are, and start to lift your heels off the mat. So we're just gonna play with that, just starting to engage more of your calf muscles. We're gonna root those heels, 4 corners, then sit back, so now more through the balls of your feet and wiggling your toes. There's a distinct shift. So we're gonna shift forward, then lift your heels off the mat. We're gonna place your heels, so all 4 corners of your feet, then shift back and wiggling your toes. So sinking more through your hips, we're gonna press up to tall mountain. With or without a back bend, your choice, listen to your body. And then we're gonna swan dive all the way. So your hands out to your right, your left, hinging through your hips, pull your belly button in, bring your fingertips down to the mat, opposite elbows, your hands on your shins, and shake your head yes, and shake your head no. We're gonna do that once more. So we're gonna sit back in a chair. So shift the weight back on the balls of your feet, heads above your heart, hearts above your tailbone, arms are long, reaching the front of the room to the ceiling, or even hands at heart center. So listen to your body. Now we're gonna shift forward and then lift your heels off the mat. So try to bring your shoulders back. Your knees are gonna shift forward and that's okay. So start to engaging more of your calf muscles. Then we're gonna root your heels, shifting back a bit, wiggling your toes. So now the weight more in the balls of your feet. Then we're gonna root all 4 corners so your feet are equally pressing and press up to tall mountain, with or without a back bend. We're gonna come back to neutral tall mountain, bring those hands down your sides and come into mountain at resting pose. A check, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, tailbone is tucked under, and your shoulders are back to open your heart center. Find that breath, engage your core, and rooting through the right foot and left foot. Then we're gonna slowly walk those hands down for forward fold. So take a moment to look behind you and shake your head yes and no. Take a look forward to the top of your mat. We're gonna walk your hands forward into plank. Find your plank. And then we're gonna come down to your right knee, put your right foot behind you. Turn that left foot so it's intersecting, that right hand, right knee. But rooting all of that left foot. So kind of roll and pressing that left little toe. Tuck your hips and shoulders in and reach your left hand to the ceiling. We tend to start to kind of round forward, so roll back, really engaging your core. Now take a look at your left hand. Try though not to dump the weight into your right shoulder. So it's easy to stay here, but I want you to reach, lengthen. Option is to stay here, or now bring your left foot off the mat. Now try to bring your left leg straight up. As high, maybe parallel the mat. If not, you're still extending across your knee, and you're pressing that foot towards the back wall. So left hand is reaching the ceiling, and the left foot is pressing away from you. Now we're gonna bring your left foot to the mat, the bottom of the foot, then the left little toe, and then take your right hand and reach out to the front, that side of the room, and then up to the ceiling. And the left hand's gonna come behind you. Now here we can start to hinge forward. I want you to keep the hips tucked under and just reach. Pull the belly in. Right hand reaching the ceiling and left hand reaching down. Here's gate pose. We're gonna come back to kneeling side plank. So bring the right hand back to the mat, fingertips facing forward, bring the shoulder right over that wrist, bring the left foot off the mat, and reach your left hand to the ceiling. If you need to, just roll that hip and shoulder back a bit. Holding for 5 here. We're gonna go back into gate pose in 4, 3, 2, 1. Now plant your left foot, all of that foot. Roll that left little toe, take your right hand up, reaching forward. Tuck the tailbone under and reach, reach, reach. So feel that reach across the shoulder and through that left shoulder. So reaching opposite directions. But pull your left knee back. So really engaging the leg, abs engaged. From here, we're gonna come back to plank. So you're gonna bring your right hand back to the mat, left hand back to the mat, make your way back to plank pose. Elbows are tucked in, we're looking forward. We're gonna switch sides. So we're gonna come down to your left knee. Put your left foot behind you. Now place that right foot. So it's not just the right side of your foot, it's all of that foot. So roll that right little toe, shoulders, reach your right hand up. Just as we did on the other side, you're not dumping the weight into that standing shoulder, you're lifting up, reaching through the chest. Option is to stay here. Now bring the right foot off the mat. And you're pressing your foot back, trying to bring it parallel with the mat. If you can't, that's okay, but we're not bending through your knee. You're feeling the extension, the reach. Again, rolling that hip back a bit. Then we're gonna bring the right foot to the mat. Don't leave the inside of your foot, but all of the foot, particularly the right little toe. Then take your left hand to reach forward. Right hand's gonna come behind the right leg and reach opposite directions. You're gonna feel that stretch from your sternum out. Now roll that right knee back a bit. Then we're gonna slowly take that left hand back to the mat, fingertips facing forward, shoulder right over the wrist. Stack your shoulders, reach your right hand to the ceiling, and then bring the right foot back up. Press. If you need to, tuck your tailbone under, roll that shoulder back, because we tend to start to kind of round forward. That's our normal everyday posture. We're trying to correct that. And then once more, we're gonna bring your right foot to the mat, all with the foot. So plant the right little toe, and then reach up for gate pose. Tuck your tailbone under and reach in opposite directions. Feel the stretch from your sternum out. We're gonna come back, left hand back to the mat, and then we're gonna bring your right hand, we're gonna flip it over, make your way back to plank. So draw both feet back, elbows are tucked under. I'm gonna come down to 4-point staff, squeeze your elbows in. Use your knees, or not, we're gonna press back to plank, find your plank, and then back to downward facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back. We're gonna bring your left knee in towards your forehead. So pause, remember the crunch. Then take a look forward and step your left foot through. So here's lower lunge. Both sets of toes are facing forward. Draw your right leg back. Just really the back of the right toe should be in contact with the mat. We tend to, when we lunge, we have that foot too far forward and too much of that foot's on the mat. Then, when you're ready, you can stay here. We're gonna take your fingertips forward and then draw your shoulders over your wrist to feel the groin stretch. So you want a nice long line for lunge. Feel free to come to your right knee, but you're trying to keep the shoulders over your hips. You're gonna feel the groin stretch. So think about your alignment. The left knee should be tracking towards your second and third toe. You should easily be able to see your left big toe. So your choice, where do you wanna be? Hands at heart center, hands on your hips, on the right knee. If you're off the knee, I want you to draw your right leg back to really feel some extension. Again, it's easy to start to let those shoulders come forward in front of your thighs. So bring them back. Pull those abs in. And then we're gonna cartwheel those hands either side of that left foot and step back to plank. So we're gonna find your plank, then back to downward facing dog, and step the right foot back. Then we're gonna bring the right knee towards your forehead, pausing for a moment. Then look forward and step the right foot through. So one or many steps. Both sets of toes are facing forward. Find just the back of your left toes. Before you go anywhere else in your lunge, draw your left leg back. To really feel the extension through that leg. Then fingertips forward and up. Here's your lunge. Feel free to come to that knee. Hands wherever's comfortable for you. But a couple checks here. Think about where the right knee is tracking. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. It's easy to come forward, but you want to feel the reach, the extension of that hip flexor. If you're off the left knee, you're pressing your left foot back. So make a check, see your right big toe. And hold for 4, engage your core. Pull those abs in. And then we're gonna slowly cartwheel those hands through the side of your right foot and step back to plank, so find your plank. Here we go, we're gonna come straight out of 4-point staff, squeeze your elbows in. So here's your check. Elbows should be in no chicken wings. So recorrect. Your toes are still tucked under. Pull the belly button in. We're gonna press back to plank and back into our facing dog. We're gonna step your left foot back for three-legged dog. Bring your left knee in towards your forehead. Pause. Then look forward and step your left foot through. So here's lower lunge again. And then option is to stay here, sweep your hands forward and up. So this is our second time coming here. So take a little bit faster of a moment to recorrect. Find the lengthen. Feel free to come to that knee. Now we're gonna bring hands on center. Press your palms together. Forearms are parallel off the mat. So you're really engaging your chest here. Now we're gonna come down to your right knee, but keep the right toes tucked under. Then we're gonna bring your fingertips up to the toes towards the ceiling. And we're gonna separate your hands and bring your elbows towards your body. So we're gonna squeeze your shoulder blades together. A chance to stretch your chest. We're still on your right knee. Your right toes are still tucked under. And your left knee is still tracking towards your second toe. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. So you still feel the groin stretch. Now from here, we're gonna hold here. Your elbows can be coming in. I want you to feel the extension through the chest and shoulder. Now press the right foot back. So a chance to stretch that fascia. Then in one movement, we're gonna come off your right knee and reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. So we're gonna come up, find that high lunge position, and come back down. So bring that right knee back down. Pause. We're gonna press back up. So extend. Once more, bring that knee back down. Pause. And extend back up. And then we're gonna cartwheel those hands down to the side of your left foot and step back into our facing dog. Forward to plank. 4-point staff. So look forward, squeeze your elbows, use your triceps. Feel free to use your knees. We're gonna press back to plank and back into down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. Then we're gonna bring your right knee towards your forehead. We're gonna pause. Then look forward and step your right foot through. So both sets of toes facing forward. Sweeping your arms back and up. Taking a moment to find that lunge. Draw your left leg back. Hands on heart center. Take a moment to think about where your knees need to be, where your ears need to be. Then we're gonna come down to your left knee. Keeping your left toes tucked under. Just pressing that foot back, you get a chance to stretch your fascia, engage a little bit more of your left quads. Then we're gonna stay here on that left knee. Bring your fingers up towards the ceiling. Now draw your elbows up towards your torso. So a chance to imagine you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. You're stretching your chest and anterior shoulders. Now pull your abs in. In one movement, we're gonna come off your left knee, bring your fingers up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna come up. And then we're gonna slowly come back down. Just go for the touch. Then we're gonna press back up. Extend your left leg, coming back down for the touch of the tag. We're gonna come back up. And then we're gonna come all the way down. We're gonna pause. So just pause it for a moment, take a bit of time here to recorrect your lunge, bring your shoulders back. Then we're gonna slowly come up. We're gonna cartwheel those hands down either side of your right foot, both sets toes facing forward, and step back into down facing dog. We're gonna come forward to plank. 4-point staff, straight down the mat, squeeze your elbows in. We're gonna reverse it, press back to plank, and back to down facing dog. We're gonna walk your feet towards your hands. So as many footsteps as you need to come forward. Forward fold. Pausing for a moment, so rather than looking towards the top of your mat, I want you to look between your legs. Shaking your head yes and no, lifting your sit bones up, really feeling the stretch along the back of your legs. So listen to your body. The more you bend your knees, the less stretch you're gonna have. So whatever that looks like for you, feels like for you. And then we're gonna slowly swan dive up. Hands at heart center, and then into mountain. So we're gonna take a moment to come into a bit of balance. Balance is really important to work on as we age. So balance, we're gonna start in a mountain pose. If you need to, feel free to move alongside a wall, grab a chair, turn your back away from wherever you're watching this video, and listen to my words. You don't have to look at me to follow along. So here in mountain, your weight is equally on your right foot and left foot. Tailbone is tucked under, ears over shoulders, engaging your core. We're gonna shift the weight slightly over to your left foot, pull your left knee back, and just bring your right foot off the mat. So take a moment to adjust. Then, option is to stay here, or bring your right knee up 90 degrees. So we're gonna tuck your tailbone under. You're still trying to keep your ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and pull that left knee back. That's your standing leg is nice and strong. We're gonna hold here for 5. So you're rooting through the 4 corners of your left foot, but you're still lifting through your crown, engaging your core. We're gonna make our way back to mountain. So again, weight equally in your right foot and left foot. Respect the differences from right to left. So not being in a rush to get through the balance. Then we're gonna shift slightly over to your right side. Pull your right knee back, bring your left foot off the mat. So take a moment to adjust, accommodate. We tend to start to take all the weight into your right hip. So re-level. Still ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Then, option is to stay here, bring your left knee at 90 degrees. Tuck the tailbone under, still lifting through your heart, sitting your crown. We're not rounding forward. Holding and breathing. We have 5 to go here. And then we're going to slowly make our way back to mountain. So find your mountain, weight equally your right foot and left foot. Finding your center, and then shift your weight over to your left foot. Put your left knee back, that's your standing leg, and then bring your right foot off the mat. Bring it up 90 degrees. Listen to your body, whatever balance works for you. We're gonna bring your arms up overhead, palms facing one another, arms on either side of your ears. Fingertips reaching the ceiling, pull your shoulder blades down. Pull your left knee back. Now we're gonna extend and kick through the right foot. So draw your right foot towards the front of the room, pressing across your knee, but the foot is flexed, meaning we're not gonna point your toes. Try to bring that right leg a little higher, holding for 5, 4, come on, go for the kick, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that right knee up 90 degrees, and coming back into mountain. So find your mountain, weight equally on your right foot and left foot. Find that center. Now we're gonna shift the weight over to your right foot, pull your right knee back, and then bring your left foot off the mat. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, abs pulled in and breathing. Then trying to bring it 90 degrees, arms up overhead, palms facing one another, but arms on either side of your ears. Now pull your right knee back. Now we're gonna kick your left foot forward through the bottom of the foot. Maybe a little higher, holding that for 5. Breathing and smiling. If you come out of the balance, feel free to come back up and join us. We will meet you in mountain, but allowing the breath to guide you. Then we're gonna slowly make our way back in 90 degrees and back into mountain. So find your mountain where your weight is back on your right foot and left foot equally. Then we're gonna slowly bring your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, and try to collapse the space between your wrists. Roll your shoulders back. This is uncomfortable, you can grab opposite wrists. But I want you to roll your shoulders back, weight equally in your right foot and left foot, and then lift your bound hands away from you. So it's harder to do that, you have your shoulders roll forward, so roll them back to start, then lifting them away. So a chance to really stretch your chest. We spend so much of our day sitting and rounded forward or standing and rounded forward. We're gonna tuck your tailbone under, press your pelvis forward, and just trying to bring that body a little further away. Really challenging it from the anterior shoulders, through the pectoral muscles, the chest. Deepen the breath. I want you to try to breathe into the belly. We're gonna hold for 5. And then we're gonna slowly release. Bring your hands back down to either side. Find your mountain. Then we're gonna walk your hands down for forward fold. So our forward fold looks like for you, pausing for a moment. You're gonna bring your hands down to the mat. We're gonna come back to tabletop where we started class tonight. Knees, shoulder width apart. Knees hip level apart, hands shoulder width apart. We rest on the top of the feet. Then we're gonna bring right arm, left leg off the mat. So we're just gonna engage a bit of back here. We tend to start to roll to your left hip, so I want you to recorrect. Pull those abs in, reaching fingertips and toes in opposite direction. The arms and the legs are nice and long. We're not bending through your elbow, nor the knee. We're gonna make our way back to tabletop and switch sides. So left arm, right leg. Try not to roll to your left hip, so kind of level it out. Pull those abs in. Breathing and smiling. We have 5 to go here. And then we're gonna make your way back. From spinal balance back into tabletop. We're gonna pull the belly in, round and flex your spine back into cat. We're gonna let your belly go, roll your shoulders back into cow. Once more, we're gonna come back into cat. Back into cow. And make your way back to tabletop. We're gonna tuck your toes under and lift back to downward facing dog. Just shifting your weight back in the balls of your feet. Pull your knees back. We're gonna walk your hands back. So we're gonna just take this hand from your hand to your feet and decrease that space by 50%. Then decrease that space by 50%. Then all the way down, whether you touch your toes, hands on your shins, but we're gonna let your head shake it yes and no, because your head and neck tends to wanna help you here in forward fold. I don't know why, it's not gonna you don't need it. Shaking a yes and no, pull your knees back, and then we're gonna slowly walk your hands up, make your way back into mountain. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, tailbone tucked under, rooting through the right foot and left foot, pull your abs in. then we're gonna walk those hands back down for forward fold. Pausing for a moment, then take a look at the top of your mat. We're gonna walk your hands forward, make your way back into our final plank, shoulders over your wrists, walk your feet back. Find a good solid plank. We have 2 sets of 5 here. So elbows are slightly bent, looking forward, scoop your abs in, and breathing. And remembering yoga breath is simply a breath in and a breath out. We don't need to complicate it. And then we're gonna come back to 4-point step, last one of the night. Lower yourself straight down. Big toes together, back in a child's pose. Drop your sit bones back. Then we're gonna roll ourselves over onto our backs. Knees in the chest. Find that center. Head and spine are resting on the mat. You can rock from side to side if you like. We're gonna place your hands down to your sides. Now press your feet up towards the ceiling. So you want a relatively nice straight line, having the balls of your feet over your hips. So just feeling, it's helping with circulation, but I want you to not just hold, but I want you to imagine that you're pressing the ceiling off the foundation of the wall. So it's engaging. Now roll your shoulders back and let your upper body rest on the mat. We tend to kind of round and have the shoulders come off the mat, so really pressing your shoulder blades. Pull your abs in and press your feet up. This is staff pose, and we're gonna hold for just another 5. And then we're gonna bend your knees. Keeping your head and spine still on the mat, we're gonna pull your knees into your chest, grabbing along your calves. Shins, are behind your knees, whatever feels comfortable for you. Then we're gonna pull your knees out to each armpit to escape your rib cage. Just a chance to stretch your hips. Then we're gonna bring your knees back together. We're gonna place your hands down your sides and letting one foot follow by the other. Letting your feet fall away from midline. And just finding the contact of your mat. And then taking a moment to close your eyes. I encourage you to participate in Shavasana even though you're at home. So taking a moment to really take in the space of your mat. Reconnecting to the breath. Feeling the chest rise and expand. Feeling the stillness in the space that surrounds you. Knowing that yoga will give you the body you're meant to have in terms of strength, flexibility, and balance. And those are all important components to be constantly working for, working at, as we age. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly take a moment to just open your eyes, not being in a rush, taking the space that's around you. Bend from here, we're going to roll over to one side. It does not matter which side, into pose of the unborn child. But take a moment to stack those hips, those shoulders. And then we're going to bring yourself up to a seated position, crossing our legs. Thank you for sharing your energy. Namaste.